Welcome to your virtual walkthrough on your Keystone Avalanche. We'll start in the back. You're pre-wired for a backup camera. It does not come with the camera. You would have to purchase that separately. But it does use power off the marker lights. So when you hook to your truck, the running lights are on, powers the camera, and you're good to go. 50 amp show cord, this is yours. It will come with the unit. It'll be in one of the compartments. This twist on, and then you can tighten this little collar on too to keep it from getting unplugged. Do have a receiver here. It's not for towing. It has a 300-pound capacity. So if you want to do like a bike rack or one of those large racks for spare coolers or firewood and whatnot, that'd be perfect for that. This right here, your fresh tank vent. If you ever overfill it, you'll have water come out of here. But this is for air to escape when you fill it. That is your drain for your fresh tank right there. I always recommend draining when you're not using it, just so it doesn't sit with water. Water will become stagnant if it sits unused after a while, and in the winter it can freeze up. Slide seals, every once in a while you are going to want to inspect them. Make sure they're not dry or cracked or anything like that. Make sure they're still soft and pliable. Once a year I recommend doing a slide maintenance. Very easy to do. All you do is clean these pretty good, and then spray on a seal conditioner and then wipe it off. Scrub it in, wipe it in, get the back sides. And then I also recommend applying another product called Slide Out Dry Lube on the rails of the slide there. All four sides, getting the gears up in there. Keep it lubricated. We'll have to go around. You get your vent for your rain hood. You can't open that, it is tall. They do make pretty neat folding small compact portable stools. I recommend that with this, especially for adjusting the awning, and we'll get to that in a bit. We'll have to go around just because of where we are. Alrighty then. Back here, we're still over there. That's access to dumping for drains. You have another handle over there for a second gray tank, and then you have black and gray over here. So it's your black tank. There's your toilet water, and this is your gray tank, which is your shower and sink water. The other tank will be your kitchen sink. It drains into its own tank. Water heater, very simple to use. This is winterized, so the water will be able to get in the water heater. There's no antifreezer in there. When you're ready to use this for this season, you'll put your anode in to this hole here. Snug it down, 1 1/16 is the socket size. Snug it down like that. Don't over tighten it. Since it's winterized, the first thing you'll do is I'll recommend filling the fresh tank about halfway full of water, turning on the pump, turning this off, leave the water heater in bypass, and then run the pump. Run each fixture until you have perfectly clear water come out of it, because you don't want to take this out of bypass and then have antifreeze go into your water heater. So flush all the water out, all the antifreeze out first. But once you have this full of water, which you do by taking it out of bypass, once the antifreeze is flushed out of the system, it'll start filling. You'll be able to turn it on if you want to run electric. There is a switch here. There's also a switch inside for it, and there's a switch inside for gas. Keep this clean. If you see spider webs, debris, or anything like that, I use the air gun, air nozzle off a compressor, spray it off. Keep in mind when you do that, a lot of debris and stuff will come out of here, so keep your face clear of that. Definitely recommend draining it after every trip. You're not gonna, unless you're going on like a weekend trip or week-long trip. When you're storing this, you don't want to have water sitting there; it'll get stagnant. So before you drain it, shut off your source of water. If it's city, turn it off. If it's the pump, turn that off. Open up your pressure relief. Relieve all the pressure. Once that stops flowing out of there, close that. Then you can open that. If you neglect to do that, you're gonna get a bath. Here's very simple. You have your outdoor shower connection right there. Winterization port, we're actually winterizing it now. Has an ice maker, so you got to winterize the ice maker. So what you could do, if you have a spare garden hose, something similar to this doesn't come with this. You hook it to here. Make sure your water heater is in bypass. Make sure that is set to on in normal flow. Now your pump is set to pump from here, so you can just stick that in the gallon antifreeze, run antifreeze on each faucet until you see antifreeze come out of it. Although that's your city water, that's where you hook up water, that's what you Your city water, you want everything off of that. If you want to fill your fresh tank, all you have to do is turn this to fill, and now that's going to start filling your fresh tank. Over here is a black tank flush, so when you're dumping your black tank, if the dump station has a hose, hook it there, turn it on, there's a nozzle built in the tank, it'll spray everything out as you go. This you can open, so when you're at the site, you can run your hose up through there, you don't have to have this open. Door for your water heater, pass through storage, goes through to the other side. Leveling system's very easy to use. Turn it on, it can tell you we're not level. Scroll through your menu, give you things like that. Auto retract. When you're done and you're ready to go, don't use auto retract because that retracts the front ones too. Use that when you're hooked to your truck, otherwise the camper is going to nosedive. When you're ready to auto level, you'll just hit auto level, and then when you're done, you hit retract in rear, you'll retract all the rear jacks. Very simple to do. Definitely recommend when you're auto leveling, not having people go in and out, not be walking around in there, because it throws the computer out. It'll just take longer to level, and it might not be perfectly level. And it won't be perfectly level to begin with, but it'll be flat. You won't have cabinet doors opening on you. Just stuff like that. Definitely recommend if you are in a really muddy, grassy area. Large blocks underneath these. Don't stack them too high. You don't want them to become unstable. All of your instructions for the leveling system are printed inside the propane thing. Access to your propane. 2 tanks. They are full. You can have them both on at once. Whatever that's pointing to, it'll pull from first. If the other one were to get emptied, it'll switch to the other one automatically. However, when it switches, that doesn't rotate, so keep that in mind. Got important information here if you ever need to reference it. The dry weight of the vehicle, the gross vehicle weight, tire pressure 110. You'll have cargo carrying capacity. Your VIN is on here if you ever need to reference it. Up here, you got a front storage compartment. Has a battery, an inverter, and there's your batteries. You have a disconnect switch for your inverter in there. Your inverter will run your refrigerator. So you, if you're not plugged in, you can at least run your refrigerator, keep your food cold, and run all your lights and whatnot off of your 12 volt as well. Here, pre-wired for solar, GFCI outlet. All your GFCI outlets are on the same circuit, so if you plugged in something and it were to trip, they're all going to get tripped as well. You have another battery in here. This one really powers a lot of the 12 volt system, and your hydraulic. This battery needs to be connected, and that battery disconnect needs to be in the on position for your hydraulic slides to work. This is your hydraulic reservoir. It will always appear to be a little low because you have to remember you have fluid in your front jacks extending them. So I always recommend checking it when it's hooked to your truck. All the jacks are up to make sure you have the correct fluid level. Your battery, I recommend both your batteries taking out in the winter. If you're not going to be able to keep the camper plugged in, keep them at a constant charge, they will start dying in the winter. Oh, this is kind of difficult to get open. Give me 1 second. This is just out of the side of the storage compartment. This one has a much larger door. And the neat thing about this one is you have a light on this side, and then you have an outlet, and then satellite and cable outlets. So if you did have a satellite hooked up, or when you're running cable antenna, you could put your TV in this little compartment out here. You even have an awning out here. Open up the awning, you're good to go. Watch your TV outside. This is your exhaust for your furnace. I don't need to tell you that it gets hot. Just be careful. Keep this clean. Don't recommend using blowout tool, but you'll just blow it further in there. This does come unscrewed. 4 screws. Pull it out. Blow it out that way, shake it out, or if you have a long coat hanger, you see something stuck in there, grab it, pull it out. They do make screens for these. I definitely recommend them. That keeps insects from getting in there and building up nests. We'll come over here and then we'll go inside. We have to do a little table moving to get the stairs to close, but I'll do my best explaining them. You have pins here, and that's what you can use to adjust the height of the legs. If the ground's uneven, if that's the lower spot or the higher spot compared to where the camper is. The one tip I can give you is don't adjust your steps so high where they can run into here, because sometimes the camper will be level and the steps will be like that. This one has high enough clearance. You shouldn't have to worry about that too much. We'll go on inside here. We'll start back here. Got a large couch here. I do believe this turns into a bed. Yep, undo all these cushions. It's very hard to do one-handed, I'll explain it. Lift up here. Lift up like that is. Pull up towards you. There's legs that can fold down. And then you fold the back thing down. My recommendation is a pad or an air mattress. They're not very comfortable. So if you want guests to be comfortable, or kids or whatever, I'd recommend throwing those down. And that's good because you do have an outlet there, 2 USB ports, and then 2 more outlets over here, so you can plug in something like that if you wanted to. TV here works off the antenna, or if you hook through cable, you can run off cable. Your remotes in here. You have a fireplace. It's 120. You do have to be plugged in for your fireplace to work. So if you look at your remote, little power button, look at the little screen there. You can use the temperature thing to increase the temp. Oh, it's in Celsius, so you hit this button to get it to Fahrenheit. And then you can use the flame, that one right there. Just that. And then that one's a timer. You can also use those buttons there to turn it on and off. So if you ever lose the remote or you're closer to that than you are the remote. That's for your radio. Your presets 1 through 6. Push and hold to save a preset. Every time you disconnect the batteries on this and unplug the camper, the radio does reset, so you will lose your presets. So just keep that in mind. You can turn off zones. So zone 1's inside. These speakers you can turn them off. Zone 2 are the outside speakers. You have all your standard functions there, and then you have Bluetooth. Cycle through modes here. You're not linked, so it won't do anything. You have auxiliary, headphone jack. I don't know why they do that. You're not going to be sitting here with headphones. USB to charge your phone. This also is a DVD player. It's an HD DVD player. It is not a Blu-ray player. But it is on one of your HDMI channels on the TV. So just use your TV remote to get to the HDMI channel. And then you'll be able to pop a DVD in your radio and watch DVDs, which is pretty cool. Light switch here. We'll do the lights there and there. Microwave is like a standard household microwave. It's actually way nicer than my microwave. Cooktop right here folds up and back. You do have, that'll act as your backsplash. You have your knobs to light. Won't light the gases off. That's how you do that. The oven's a bit different. You'll turn that to the flame, push and hold. As you're pushing and holding, you're going to turn your sparker until the pilot down in there. Let's see if you can see it. That over there is lit. And then you can turn it to your desired temp. You do have lit up knobs. If you do it down, it'll do the knobs and as well as the oven light. Refrigerator. Very simple to use. Turn your ice on or off. Power freeze just increases the temperature the freezer for a while. It helps you make ice quicker. Turn the freezer temp there. Fridge. Power cool. Same thing for your hot cool and energy saver mode. Slide out freezer drawer. That right there is your ice maker. So that's what we're winterizing now. See if there's any freezer now. A few things about your ice maker. You do have an on and off knob for that there. And let's get the flash on. You probably can't see it in there. Right there. There's also one straight underneath on the underbelly. It's not your fresh tank because your fresh tank's over there. It'll be over here. Make sure that is closed. If you turn that on and that's open, it'll just start pouring out water. That's the low point drain for your water system. So when you're ready to drain it, you can turn the water off your main source of water, open that one up, let it drain, and then you could turn off that one if you wanted to. I recommend leaving that one on when you winterize it. Antifreeze will go to the system. Same thing when you de-winterize it. Let it go through a cycle overnight. Make a batch of clear ice. Plenty of storage here. Breaker box there, all your breakers for 110, all your fuses for 12 volt. I recommend some spare fuses. Now this is my favorite thing about these Avalanches. I've never seen one that had a bunkhouse with 2 doors to get into it. Now I think that's pretty cool. Here's your light switch for in here. You do have another outlet right here. Couch here. Do believe it does the same thing the other one does, yes. It folds into a bed. Make sure when you close this bunkhouse that goes back into a couch. A little entertainment area, or if someone wants to get ready in here, you do have a spot for the TV and stuff there. Light switch for the lights on the slide. That's your main light switch there. You come to here, you have a nice coat rack, a cork board, hang your keys up there. I think that's cool. Ladder to the loft, spot to put a TV in the loft as well, and their own light. Vent controls for this vent in here. When you open the lid, it'll turn the fan on. And when you close the lid or fan off, it'll turn the fan off and automatically close the lid. Same thing when you close the vent, the fan will turn off automatically when it closes. Here's your controls for your water heater. So you have gas, electric. You turn that on. If that light stays on, it didn't light. Try again, your gas could be off. Electric, make sure you are make sure you do have water in the water heater when you run electric. Otherwise you burn out the heating element. Here's your pump controls there. You have all your fresh, battery, black 2, you don't have a second black, and you don't have a third gray either, so gray 1 and gray 2. Your light controls, porch light, hall, ceiling, all the lights there. Slide out, that one just controls your bedroom slide. The hydraulic slides are these 3 here. It's going to do the bunkhouse first opening, and then that one, and then that one. How it works is it'll do the slide first with the least resistance. Here's your awning controls. So open and close your awning here. You can adjust it once it's all the way open by pulling in and out here and tightening the knob. So if you're trying to adjust pitch, definitely recommend not leaving it out in a windstorm. These things are sails in the wind and they can get right off. Make sure you turn them to normal if you've adjusted them before you close them so it doesn't go out of whack. Light switch here controls your ceiling fan. And then your the string there adjusts your speed of it. AC controls there, so that would be cool. So you have your temperatures there. You have your fan speed, auto, high, low, on, high, and low. I recommend auto. It's going to allow your to cycle on and off. When you have it on high, the fan won't cycle on and off. The AC could freeze up, and then it will shut itself off, and you have to wait for it to thaw. That's why I recommend auto. If you run fan, it'll just run the fan part on the AC. It won't turn the compressor on. It acts as a big fan to circulate air. Heat, that'll run your furnace, so that'll go all the way to 90. When you turn your furnace off, it will continue to run for a little bit. That's because it's right under here. That's because it's continuing to vent out any unburnt gases. Coming to the bathroom here. Oop, that. GFCI outlet, that's the main one. If anything trips, reset it here. This bathroom has a lot more storage than most campers do. Sliding doors. Now, make sure these latch when you travel. These doors will slide all kinds of places, and you could end up somewhere with glass everywhere. Shower with a removable shower head. You got basic controls, hot and cold, and then you have a little sunlight, sunroof, whatever you would call it. I think they do that so taller people can stand up in there. Toilet. Foot pedal, as long as you're pushing down on the pedal. it'll continue to flush. If you push just a little bit on it, it'll flush but not open. I always like to fill it with a little water and then send her home. That's your control for in here. Again, you have a spot to mount a TV in here. Plenty of TV spots in here. That's your backer. Watch how long your screws are. You could very easily screw to the outside of the camper. Here's your spot for that too. Plenty of storage in here as well. Your bed. Storage underneath there too. Extra blanket, so maybe you can make the husband sleep in there. Plenty of storage here. Now this closet's set up a little weird. You could put the dryer over there because there is, no, sorry, the dryer outlet's over there. Sorry. Those are 2 outlets there for like if you want to charge your phones at night. And then you have this double closet here. Now, it may look like you won't be able to put a stacker in here if you wanted to put a washer and dryer in here, but you definitely can. This cabinet, this section of cabinet right here is removable. Pull up this piece of trim, this piece down here too. You'll be able to see these are screwed together. That's just screwed to the wall, so you just pop the panel off, unscrew it all, unscrew here. This whole thing will come out, and then you'll have room to put a stacker in here. Here's your water hookups, your drain, your outlets for it, and then this is where they put the vent there. All of these little things in your ceiling are returns, and these are your actual ducts. Inside of these, there's our foam little things, your filters. Once a year, when you're doing your cleaning, which I always recommend, you go and clean your camper every once in a while. Take those out, wring them, put them under some warmish water, wring them out, let them dry, stick them back in. That way you're getting fresh air coming in when you need it to. A few more things. Just a couple of things going this way, little odds and ends. This does come out. Lift up your table like that. You got storage. You can pull this out as a secondary table. I'm letting you know that because make sure you put it back in before you close your slide. It will hit this. It could damage it. All of your stools have storage underneath them. These lids, these fold up. You can store placemats or whatnot in there. Both of these chairs are recliners. You have to look, but you pull that up to recline. Those legs will go up. If you want to lean back, you just kind of lean back in the chair. Each chair has massage, light, heat. You got massage, light, and heat there too. These are very comfortable chairs. I have similar ones, just different colors at home. Very comfortable. Here's last little bit, your safety things. Fire extinguisher. You got a smoke alarm up there. Somewhere around here should be an LP alarm. Should be built into a wall somewhere. And somewhere around here. Anyway, making sure there isn't. Yep. So that's your smoke alarm right here. That uses 9-volt batteries, just like you want at home. If that one starts doing those annoying chirps on you, throw a new 9-volt in it. You should. If it is an alarm, you should know what an alarm would sound like. Calmly leave. Excuse me. And then you can figure out what happened later. Just get out when you need to. Similar thing with this. This is a LP and carbon monoxide alarm. If this same thing is doing those annoying chirps, that means it's low on battery. This is hardwired to the 12-volt, so that means that one of the batteries up front, so the two I showed you are starting to die. Plug your camper in, let those batteries get charged up, let the system get charged up. This should stop beeping. If it's alarming, like a constant beep, you can tell it's an alarm. Get out of your camper, turn off your propane, leave your door open to kind of let it vent out. When you're comfortable enough to come in, if you are comfortable to go in, you can look, maybe investigate. I find it's usually someone has a burner cracked open and they didn't even realize it. So that's pretty much it for my virtual tour of your Keystone Avalanche. Hope you guys really enjoy this camper, get a lot of good use out of it. I really like these Avalanches. They're like a home, you know. So they're really nice. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Hope you found the video informative.